Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single barrel only liquor store. This store is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot. Get signed up for their email distribution list to find out when the store will be opening, what their hours will be, and most importantly, what they will have in inventory at abvbarrelshop.com. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebartogo.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we discuss what a single barrel bottle shop can be. My name is Miss Beka Sue. Please join me in welcoming my co-host Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Cailee Baker, Jim Fosnot, and Evan Van Scoik.
Hey gang, what's up?
Howdy.
Hey, yo.
Hey, so yeah, we're going to have this discussion today. Should be fun. Jim and I, of course, are in the process of opening up a single barrel shop. So kind of a cool concept. And we're going to talk about some of the things we're doing and have you guys say what you think would be cool. And maybe we'll take some of your ideas. That'll be cool. It's like a brainstorming session. So it should be fun. Before we get to that, my question today was, and it can be any house that you lived in, whether it's your childhood home or where you live now, what is the coolest animal you've ever seen in your backyard? In your backyard. It has to be at a place that you lived, not you're on vacation or something like that. You're in Yellowstone, and it has to be at a place that you actually live. I'll go first, and I think I'm going to set a pretty high standard here. The coolest thing that I've ever seen was in the house that I live in now, right across the lake. And now I've heard neighbors say that this has happened before. I've only seen it one time. I've lived in our house 30 years this year, and I've only seen it happen one time, and that is a bald eagle. We do live on a lake, a small lake, and there was a bald eagle sitting in a tree almost like a whole day, just hanging out over there looking down at the lake. And so that was the coolest animal I've ever seen in our backyard. We get a lot of stuff back there, but we'll never top that. I mean, it's awesome. It really is awesome.
So I'm just going to take off here and piggyback off of that because my parents actually named their lake house Eagles Rest Lake House because outside the window there's like 2 bald eagles that come and hang out all the time, and they've taken multiple pictures of them, and it's about every other weekend morning they'll come and hang out in the trees up there. It's my parents' house. I did live there for a long time when I moved back here from Michigan.
Was that like in the winter, the bald eagles, they're there?
In the winter a lot. And most of the pictures they got from them would be, bald trees.
But they'll come back. Yeah, they'll come back to the same areas, which is...
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We've seen the same eagles.
It's the same ones,
Yeah. And then I'd say the most interesting...
Which is kind of cool because it's like that's their vacation house. It's like your family's vacation house. It's like theirs too. They're like,
they just come and hang out every once in a while. But then when I was a kid, I think we lived there from when I was like 10 to maybe 13 or 14. We lived in this 100-year-old house that was in downtown Franklin, Tennessee, and it was really cool. I don't know if it counts, but my neighbors had a Shetland pony that lived in their backyard. So, I would just go out in the backyard and, at the fence, there would be, a little miniature pony just waiting for me to love on them. It was
Everyone wanted a Shetland pony when they were a kid. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're obnoxious.
I was obsessed with it.
All right. There you go.
So I'll piggyback off of Kaylee's piggyback. So we had a bald eagle in my backyard a few times. And one time I was at my next door neighbor, my good friend Mike's house, underneath his kind of overhang on his deck, We see the bald eagle in my backyard, and he had just gotten chickens. He's got some baby chicks for his coop.
Oh,
He's
no.
like, hey, it's a bald eagle. He's like, oh, let's feed it. And so he takes a chick and throws it out in my yard. And at the time he had a 5-year-old daughter who I love to death. I'm like, she's gonna just freak shit if the bald eagle eats her chicken. And so no, it saw us and it flew away. So no gory ending to that story, but I've had bald eagles back there a few times in my backyard. But the coolest thing was when I lived in Florida, I did have an alligator who would come around from time to time. I had a canal in my backyard, and he would occasionally be just sunning in my backyard and hanging out. You couldn't let your dogs hang out there because they were known to eat, small pets. So
Yeah. Well,
that was my favorite in my backyard.
all right, Evan, how about you?
Mine's weak. I don't have anything very good except for the state bird of this where I grew up, a cardinal. So
Okay.
maybe for those listening who are around the country don't have cardinals who inhabit their area, maybe that's kind of cool. Ours are pretty popular around here, but you don't see them that often. Maybe like once a month you might see a cardinal. And we've got a baseball team named after him.
Once
so
a month,
that's kind of cool.
I see him like 5 times a day in my backyard.
Okay, well, Jim's just he's got a whole aviary of cardinals over
He's
there.
got an aviary.
Putting me to shame.
My grandparents' house down the road has cardinals on the daily.
The cool one to see in Missouri is the bluebird because those are tough to spot, and that's the Missouri bird. So,
But Steve, how many cardinals do you see in your backyard?
a lot, yeah, a lot of cardinals, and blue jays. You see,
Well, mine was bad.
Yeah, it was. You failed, Evan. You
cardinals are popular. You see a lot of
See,
them.
I've seen a neighborhood cat.
Oh, exciting! All right, Beka, you seem to be collecting outdoor pets. What's the coolest thing that you've ever seen? And it could be going back to your North
Bagel eating
Dakota days.
snake.
Bear. It's a bear.
I've never seen a bear in the wild. Obviously, I love Larry and Trash, the possums who have showed up in my yard, but I invited them here by throwing trash in my yard. But probably the coolest was out at our lake house, moose just swimming across the lake.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh, sweet.
It was really cool because I had never seen them before. And then I think it was the first year that Royce came out to the lake cabin for the 4th of July. We saw the 2 moose running just in a field like 20 miles from the lake. And then they were swimming across the lake the next morning.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. And it was cool because like Royce had never seen a moose. I've seen plenty of moose and like they're just massive and kind of terrifying. But it was really cool. Like we woke, like the sun just like hits you in the morning. And you're like, oh God. And then you look out at the lake and it was like, what the hell is that? And it was moose.
They don't seem to have a fear of people like deer or stuff like that.
No.
They are not.
Yeah.
Why would they be?
They'll run up at you.
They have zero need to be scared of
Yeah.
humans.
You're
when they
giant.
just
My
fucking
sister
kill
lives
us.
in Alaska. You can't believe how many pictures she has of her with a camera shooting out on the other side of the window, a moose looking in their house. She's like a collection of these things.
They
I've
do
been lucky enough to hunt moose twice. The hardest part about hunting a moose is getting a tag because they are easy to hunt because they are aggressive and they have no fear of humans. Like here they come.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Do you be scared of humans, Jim? If you were that fucking big?
Well, yeah, if humans have guns and they don't.
Well,
If you don't know if humans have guns, though,
Yeah.
you're not scared.
yeah.
They should.
If moose ever start carrying guns, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
'Cause they're
We're
no
in
fear.
major trouble.
If they get an opposable thumb, we're screwed.
They're
The
bigger than us.
invasion's
They're
gonna
faster
start in
than us.
Canada.
Yeah. And now they have guns. So yeah.
And now they have. That sounds like a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, it is.
That
And now
sounds
they
like a
have
really
guns.
shitty sci-fi movie if I've ever heard.
Moose
Yeah,
on the
copy
loose.
Us, and now they've got opposable thumbs and guns.
From the director
The
of
Moose Gun
Sharknado.
Coffee Company.
Yeah.
Guns.
Yeah. All right. Well, it is time to drink. What is everyone drinking? I'm going to go first. I haven't gone first yet. I've got Tommy Bahama bourbon here. So how about that?
Of course you do.
Tommy Bahama. Of course. Of
Your
course.
brand bourbon.
By the way,
Yes.
he even paints in Tommy Bahama shirts. Like he's painted the
Yes.
office. Like it's his oldest Tommy Bahama shirt ever. But
Yeah,
it's,
I'm going to retire this thing. I have to hold it together with safety pins. It's all.
Yeah,
It's all. It's in bad shape, but
Are we getting a end of the night pour from you, Steve?
yes. Yeah, I'll do that. So there we go. Cork pop.
Oh yeah.
Whoa!
Wow.
That was a lot of
Explosive.
slosh. That was a lot of slosh.
That cap was a tough one. I'm going to do a last show pour on this.
Steve gets a pass because the cork
Big
was
pour.
tough.
Big pour.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see the pour, Steve. Let's see the pour. Oh,
Oh, that's
Oh
solid.
my!
All the way to the top, but you know.
I need you in the shop doing some work tomorrow, Steve. Like,
Yeah.
maybe pour something back in the bottle.
Yeah. Better. Yeah,
For those of you who don't have the visual part of that, it was an entire Glencairn full.
Yeah.
Yeah, right to the top.
Not to the brim, but just near it.
Just barely.
Yeah.
Just barely
Yeah.
below.
Tommy Bahama. There you go. All right. Jim, what do you got?
I'm going with some Still 630 Monin Bell. So I only have one part of this. Let's see how this one goes.
Okay. That's good. Not enough, though. I mean, Tommy Bahama, it's tough to compete against.
I know.
All right, Evan, how about you?
Yeah, so I'm gonna break open a single barrel. This was Gateway Vice. It's a Starlight Rye finished in rum barrels.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, good. I don't think it was as good as mine.
good.
That's
What's
pretty
that?
good.
All right. Do you think it beat me, Beka?
It was a nice fresh pop.
crisp.
It was
Okay.
high pitch.
All right,
It was
we'll go with
nice.
Evan. We'll say Evan's got the lead then. Cailee, you're next.
I have a bottle of Coal Pick Distillery Weeded Bourbon.
I never heard of
Another
this. Where
fresh
do you-
pop.
Yeah. So this is a friend of mine did this for like he auctioned off a bottle for a fundraiser that he did, and it was a really high profit item for them. But it's not a very expensive bottle. It's about $50, and it's in Paradise, Kentucky. So
Paradise, Kentucky. Okay.
I don't think it's actually open to the public yet. It says established in 2017, but I don't think they still have like open to public distillery. So interesting. Anyways,
Interesting. Yeah.
there you go.
Oh,
Woo!
I think we have a new leader. I think that is
Synthetic cork. That was the.
I would
Yeah,
agree.
those are usually good for one though. Then after that, they
Yep.
have synthetic.
Yep,
ones.
I won't win with this bottle again.
Yeah. All right, Beka, you're last but not least. You got to beat Cailee. She's got the lead.
I won't be beating anyone. I just did a sample pour of a MGP barrel pick. It says King's Ryconic.
King's Ryconic.
Oh,
I don't even know what that is. So interesting. Okay.
I don't either, but it smells good. So
King,
All right.
Family Distillery.
cheers.
Cheers, gang.
Prost.
All right. We'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to be talking about a single barrel shop and what can it be? We'll do that in just a few. Let's talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot in the greater St. Louis area. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only focuses on single barrels. We aren't open just yet, but our plan is to have the most diverse single barrel offerings from our many friends in the world of bourbon. By signing up for a weekly email, you will know our entire inventory we have on hand. In addition to single barrels, we'll have a tasting bar and a gift shop featuring logo merchandise for both the shop and the ABV network, as well as a full curriculum of bourbon education classes. Additionally, we'll use the gift shop to feature products from our partners in the world of bourbon, companies like Art Eatable Chocolates and Old Man Bay Signs. Head over to ABV Barrel Shop to sign up for our email and text distribution list so you can stay in the know. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent visits to Kentucky. Today, he's leading the way for young distillers making their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery combines family history, a look at what makes their products unique, and of course a tasting through their whiskeys, moonshines, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com and visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
Hi, this is Rick Brenner, and you are listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Shouldn't it be the legend?
Maybe.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about a single barrel shop and what it could be.
Yes, we are. So for those that haven't heard, Jim and I are getting ready to open the world's first single barrel shop. Now, you know, we have to, there could be some of you that are like, oh no, I know one that's in Nashville or something. I know there's plenty of stores that specialize in single barrels. I get that. That's a focus of what they do. And some of them will have more than we do, especially out of the gate. We're just a startup funding this ourselves. So that's not uncommon. I've heard of stores where that have 50 in stock. We won't have 50 in stock on day one. It's just not going to happen. So there are stores that are bigger than this, but those are also full service liquor stores, by the way. So they do everything else. Us, the only thing we're selling in terms of our liquor, we will have a gift shop and stuff like that, is going to be just single barrels. It's going to be stuff that we're buying directly from the distilleries that are unique profiles, a little bit different than what they normally do. So kind of a cool concept. And what do you guys think about this? And what are some cool things that you could come up with that we could do?
Now, off the top of my head, I've got a list of a couple items. So you can do like signups for joining a single barrel picking group. So you can like sell tickets, or you could do like drawings of names or something like that. So get people to go with you to do picks, or if people are sending you the samples, they just come to your shop and try the samples there.
Yeah. We are looking at how to engage our customers into our barrel picks. We definitely want to do that. So that's a good idea and a way to do it.
Yeah, that is something that I did in my my past life. I was one of the few places that brought customers in to do barrel picks. And to me, it's great. One, most customers never get that chance. And two, from a sales point, like you sell some of your barrels, you bring it in X amount of customers to pick it, they're going to want to buy it for them, for their father, their brother, their sister, their whoever. So it's a great on both ends. Like everybody has a good time. They learn a lot.
And they're going to buy bottles.
Yep.
And
yeah, so the natural evolution of that one is you can bring in a different group of people to do one of my favorite events that the ABV network hosts is the Neely naming committees. Getting to name the single barrel. So after they're already selected, you may have some picked out, but you don't have a fun name to them. Okay. So having people come in, taste, give you tasting notes. You can write up the little descriptions based on that. If you're someone like Beka, you might then undersell and send it off to some other place. But
you might
coming up with the fun
underneath us, yeah.
The fun names are just fantastic, and I know Neely is really great at coming out with some great names, and I hope the Barrel Shop can have some fun ones too.
Well, let's not say Neely. Let's say that Beka has some fun names. Like we got to give all the credit where it's due. Like because I am not a creative person who comes to that, so I love the idea, and I don't think Royce was that creative. I think Beka holds that title. And we'd love to be involved in something like that.
Yeah.
Yes, it's fun naming barrels. Sometimes it's a chore, but sometimes it's a blast.
Sometimes it's like they name themselves. Yeah.
There's sometimes where they just show up. We got one in the shop. I haven't posted it yet. It's called Night Rider. It's a Night Rider, of course.
Nice.
Ride.
Yes. And then the other ones are smoked oats and the natural, which the natural isn't naturally converted over. But naming single barrels is fun if you're creative. But there's sometimes where you go down in creative things. But if you actually are trying to name them, you'll do. This is a list of just different names that I have not used.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Very
Just
nice.
scrolling. There's a ton of them there. So, yeah.
I screenshot that, Steve. So we
Oh, yeah, that's good. We'll use those.
we got
Yeah,
some.
good.
Yeah,
And my final suggestion, it wasn't on that one, is stickers.
Yeah.
Because everybody loves a good sticker.
We're working with our distilleries to do that.
I was going to ask, are you going to have your own specific sticker then to the store?
We're working with the distillers to create something unique with each one, and maybe if they don't do it, maybe we'll do our own. So yeah, we definitely are going to be in the sticker game for sure. So that's something we're doing. Another thing that we're doing, and again, it's just based on we can do this, others can't, and most liquor stores couldn't even do it because it's not something that I don't think they know how to deal with it. What Jim and I are saying is we're probably never going to have the allocated stuff. And if we do, it would be more like a favor. Maybe we are working with distributors and they give us a bottle of BTAC or something like that. We would use it in a class. It'd be like a tasting class, a blind thing, taste it versus, normal, maybe our picks or something like that. But we're not buying, we're not buying the things that typically get you the opportunity to buy a Buffalo Trace barrel pick or a Blanton's barrel pick, because we're not buying all the Wheatley vodka or whatever it is, or the Fireball, because we don't have a full service liquor store. So we're probably not going to get really any of those. So it means we won't get any of the allocated stuff, but in our minds, we do have an opportunity to get the allocated stuff. We've been working with our distillery partners and saying, hey, can we get, kind of copied in, if you will, when you're doing these special releases at the distillery. You see like Distillery 291 does like a 10th anniversary. It's a very limited release. And, could you give us 2 cases of that we could then use almost like an allocated product at our store. And the only place besides your gift shop you can buy it is at our store. And they're saying yes. That's the cool thing, is they're saying yes to this stuff. And it's going to give us an opportunity to bring things that you can't get unless you're willing to get in a car and drive and stand in line in hopes that you get something. We're going to have it at our store, which is pretty cool thing.
Very cool.
And I want to chase down hazmat bottles.
Yes.
So
Jim wants to be the home of hazmat.
We have a whole MCAP selection of hazmat. Like, how cool! Like, they're so hard to find, but they're out there.
They're out there.
Distilleries that have them. We've already secured a few.
We scored one. Which will be at the grand opening.
So that will be a fun thing to do. And like for us, we're going to be the home of craft single barrels. And what I would love to do is get a hold of a BTEC, something in BTEC, at the end of the year, and do a blind tasting of our favorite craft pick versus BTEC, and do a podcast on it and to see how they score out. Because to me, like, quit chasing unicorns. There's so many great bourbons out there. If you get these single barrels that are spectacular, and I love to blind taste people on stuff, it would just be great to have a class where we're doing a BTEC versus our favorite barrel picks of the year.
Yeah. Blind tasting is a great equalizer.
I mean, I think that single barrels are kind of more the way of the future, just in general. I mean, I hear it all the time in the distillery. Like, people are sick of shelfers that are normal things. And people are sick of all bourbons tasting alike because that, I'm talking right now, Royce. Wants me to pause. I think people are just sick of having everything taste the same and having nothing that stands out and nothing that has any different qualities to it when it's all the time. Just like, I get caramel, I get vanilla. That's it. That's all it is.
Right.
Kind of sucks.
Yeah. Cailee, what do you think we could be doing with the barrel shop?
Well, for one, and I think we've already kind of started talking about this, I feel like you could be doing a leatherwood pick, because that would be cool. But
yeah. No, we definitely want to get that. We want to get it early on. It's just a matter. And again, because it looks like the licensing is going to take us a little bit longer, I think we're going to have the luxury of being able to go out and do some of those things. We're going to try to hurry up and get this thing open, even by Memorial Day. And that's really not going to happen. The licensing is going to take longer. So it gives us the time to do things right and make sure we got all our picks lined out and all that. It's not a bad thing, really.
Right. Are you guys going to do any are you going to have samples of your single barrels?
Yes.
available?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
part of it too. So we got the tasting bar, which you can sample stuff, the old try before you buy.
Right.
We're also going to be doing classes. We can't imagine. We talk about this in the store like you can't believe, because we came out to your place, we met Andy, and we want Andy to come to the shop at some point. And we said, anybody who's a patriot, anybody who loves military or stuff like that, anybody who just loves interesting people would love to meet Andy and hear his story. And it probably has no idea. And that's the kind of stuff we want to do at our shop.
Yeah.
This guy's a Green Beret, unbelievable stuff that he's doing, continues to do to support this country. I mean, just an amazing person. So, yeah.
Yeah, it would be really fun to do like a little day out there, since you guys came to see us.
Yeah. We would love it.
And
But yeah, I think doing like curated tasting flights or something. Can you charge for tastings, or are you just doing free tastings?
It's pending. It's a part of our licensing. We have to go in front of the liquor control
So
board
when
too.
so when grand open, we won't be able to charge, because we'll probably be, I don't know, month or two after we open that we can charge for flights. And we want to make it where it's basically cost. Like we just have it where it's cost. We would try everything we're having.
If you try it and you like it, buy a bottle.
Right.
We're a bottle shop. I mean, that's where we make our money. We're not at that tasting bar.
When you're going to walk into a small retail section, like realistically, best case scenario, we've got, and this won't be an opening, but 50 barrels might be the best we'd ever. 50 bottles, the most we'd ever offer.
Yeah, that's would be something like goals. That'd be like what we'd like to build up to, is if we can get to 50.
If we're doing 100 picks a year or 75 picks a year, they're not going to be available because they'll sell out. So we're going to be merchandise. We can do have 50 bottles that are available right there. Then we're going to have a bar that seats about 8 people. Steve, you think?
Yeah.
Live edge, oak, kick-ass bar, stave well behind it. And then we'll have a classroom that sits, 24 people. And we could, if we have a big demand, we could put a few more people at the bar for the class. And it's not a big shop, but it's going to be a fun shop. It's going to be a spot where people stop by all the time. Anybody's into bourbon, just drop in and sit at the bar and just bullshit about bourbon for a couple hours and grab a bottle and go.
Another thing that we've got, which is very cool, is we have access to an open parking lot that is steps outside of our door that doesn't get used very much. So we've already talked with the shopping center. If we have, give them dates. And then, of course, we got to work with the city to get permits, but we can have a little mini outdoor festival, which is kind of cool. And we'll have food trucks and we'll have festivals. And my dream too is even to work with the Kentucky Bourbon Festival when they're doing their festival. Not everybody can make it to Kentucky. What if we did Kentucky Bourbon Festival West? We worked with the local people to set up tables and stuff like that. And you can't make it to Kentucky. Here's who's going to be there, and then we can work with your Buffalo Traces and your Jim Beams and Maker's Mark. We'd love to host them out at the bottle shop for sure, for something like that. So, and we've got those contacts already. I already know who those people are because I used to do classes with them at Jim's place back when he worked at a liquor store. So we can do something like that.
And I think the biggest thing about this that we really have talked about is we got relationships with about 100 distilleries across the country who may or may not be available in St. Louis right now, but we are working with small distributors to bring them into St. Louis, and we'll be the only ones who they be able to sell a barrel or two a year in St. Louis because their capacity, but we'll bring it in.
Jim and I, and again, it may happen. Someone may take this idea and think, oh, well, I could do this too. I don't think they can do what we're doing. I don't think they have the relationships. Ours is going to be all about working our relationships. The things that we've got through years of Jim working at the liquor store, me working in opening a bourbon media company. And we're going to be able to do things that other people can't do. And, we've already talked to our distiller friends, what they're doing for us. And it's amazing. They're bending over backwards. They're going to send us this great stuff, but they're like, we can't do it for anybody else. I mean, they don't, this isn't like, hey, Jim Beam, we need 2 barrels. Could you do us a favor and send us that? And then they could do that to every bottle shop across the country. Actually, it's not a big deal for them, but for a craft, they're doing, what they can afford to let go of. And it's not that much. It's, if we could sell a couple barrels from them, that's what they can allocate outside of their market, outside their gift shop and outside their local market. So it's something that's totally different. No one's doing anything like this. So, yeah.
So while Beka was talking, she mentioned something that made me think, is people are tired of shelf versions. What if with your tasting bar, if you could do something similar to the event you hosted last year, Steve, the shelf versus store pick, and have a couple bottles of the shelf version of the picks you have.
That's a very good
just
idea,
behind. Yeah.
I kind of like that. Yeah. For those, again, when you're dealing with Neely, the only thing they do is single barrels. So there's no like shelf. It's just be a different single barrel.
That's true.
But yeah, there's certainly examples of, hey, here's our everyday product. Like if we have leatherwood, we do a barrel pick, we could do a regular snake eater versus this barrel pick. So yeah, there's opportunity even in craft to do that. So it's, not everybody does it how Neely does it. That's just, how they happen to, do the business. So, but yeah, it works. And I like that idea. We're a liquor shop, so we can buy liquor, Jim. So we can get, there's nothing wrong with us buying things that we don't carry in the store for the tasting bar for compare and contrast. I like that idea a lot, actually. That's a cool thing to see.
We want to do a lot of unique classes, with chocolate pairings and Taco Tuesday pairing or something like that. Like, we're gonna do a lot of unique things that don't exist yet, especially in the Missouri market. And some of them I won't give away here, but look out for them because they're gonna be some great stuff coming.
That's gonna be cool stuff for sure. So that's it. There you go. That's kind of what we're doing, and getting some great input and feedback from you guys. Appreciate that. And we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Cailee, we're starting with you. Where can people find you?
Come see me doing all the nerd shit out at Leatherwood Distillery, as Andy calls it. And follow me on Instagram at Cailee O. Baker or the Bourbon Bakers.
All right, Evan.
Yeah, you can come find me out in St. Louis, Missouri, just a few minutes from the ABV Barrel Shop. See us hanging out there as soon as it's open, so please come out and visit. And you can also find me online at Wit Wisdom Whiskey on Instagram.
All right, Jim.
You can find me on Facebook at Jim Fosnot, Instagram at FozJim. Or you can find me building out the ABV Barrel Shop with Steve in Arnold, Missouri.
All right, Miss Beka Sue.
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Beka Sue, 1K, no C's.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. The important website, though, is abvnetwork.com. Check it out. Everything that we do is out there. We put all of our previous shows out there. We got all of our past blogs. So a great place to see the archives of everything we do at the ABV Network can be found at abvnetwork.com. Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. That really helps the people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
All right, great job today, gang. Parties. We'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Smash, like, and subscribe.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Another friend of ours is the Goldstein family at Goldstone Mill. The Goldsteins offer a variety of heritage and heirloom grains to make the finest whiskeys in the world. Plus, they are more than just a grain company. They are truly consultants to make sure the grains they are providing to you or your business meet your highest expectations. Additionally, they work with mills around the country, ensuring shipping is as low as possible for their customers. If you're a distillery, brewery, or even doing this at home, Goldstone can assist you. Check them out at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or check in via email at hello@goldstonemill.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's upcoming Papaw's birthday barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with a national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, but if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.